Hello everybody, my name's Rob today with a video. Today's video taking a look at my Bond VHS, DVD and Blu-ray collection. So let's begin. So starting off here with my VHS collection, can I just say that this is such a lovely set. I really do like this set a lot. This whole set is rated 15 because of License to Kill, and it's got a lovely, massive sort of box featuring all of the Bonds and various things from the Bond movie, such as the Aston Martin. You've got the Lotus there, and various other things. So let's crack this open, shall we? Starting off with the first one here. Well, as you can see, there's the picture continues onto the spines. If I can get Dr. No out, there we go. So for Dr. No, Dr. No, it's very, I would like to consider vanilla Bond. You know, it's Bond is sort of early stages of what you can consider a Bond movie to be. I do think for the time though this movie is very impressive for 1962. Although, in my opinion, it's not my go-to Bond movie if I'm going to watch a Bond movie, but I do really like it. And every time I go back to rewatch Dr. No, I always think to myself, you know what? It's a good one, isn't it? I don't mind Dr. No. I'm actually putting Dr. No up here so it's easier to get these other ones out because it is a bit of a tight squeeze trying to get some of these out. Next up is From Russia with Love. I think From Russia with Love just sort of adds on to the Bond formula as we know from Dr. No, and just makes it a lot better. I think Sean Connery is brilliant in this movie. I like the action scenes. I like how Spectre has a sort of bigger presence in From Russia with Love than it does to Dr. No, and yeah, really good. Goldfinger, you know, the gold standard for what you know, Bond movies are. I think they really nailed the Bond formula here. Great villain, the henchman, the gadgets, I think are great. The Aston Martin DB5, the first appearance of that legendary car that is, you know, synonymous with Bond. And yeah, it's certainly one of the best. Thunderball. I don't know about Thunderball. I've only seen Thunderball once, okay, compared to some of these movies which I've seen like, you know 5 or 6 times. But I never sort of got into Thunderball. I'll give it props. Sean Connery's great in it. He definitely has some amazing one-liners in this movie. I think the action underwater scenes, especially towards the end of the movie, are really, really impressive for the time, certainly for the 60s. And I do understand why people like this movie. It's just not my cup of tea personally, but then again, I haven't watched it in a while, so who knows. Next up is You Only Live Twice. I really like You Only Live Twice. The one thing that lets it down is that Sean Connery does look very miserable in the movie. And that's purely because they were filming it in Japan, and yeah, you didn't have the great experience filming You Only Live Twice, which, you know, is understandable. But yeah, I really like Blofeld. You know, we finally see the reveal of the mysterious, you know, man with the cat, and I love the volcano layer as well. That's another brilliant set piece from Bond, and it's just, I love it. It's a good movie. Next up is On Her Majesty's Secret Service. There's a handful of things I don't like about this movie. George Lazenby's alright. I don't think he's as bad as some people say, but he's okay. I don't like the fact that he's dubbed for a large course of the movie, when he's sort of undercover. I will say I do love, like, I think the cinematography and the sort of locations they picked, you know, for Piz Gloria and all that stuff, I think is great. I love the snow. I love any time Bond goes into the snow. But yeah, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I think it's a good movie. Yeah, it's a good one. Diamonds Forever. Yeah, it's not one of my favourites, really. There's not much notable I can say about this. The song Diamonds Are Forever by Shirley Bassey's certainly a song. Quite like it. That's about it. I can't think of much notable really to say about that. Going on to my favourite Bond now, Roger Moore. Live and Let Die is a good movie. It's a great Bond movie. I certainly like the villains in this. I think the villains are certainly more unique ones that stand out with all the voodoo and stuff. And I find that aspect to be really sort of creepy, you know. And I think for Moore's first Bond movie, I think he does a really great performance. And I love the song "Live and Let Die" by Paul McCartney. Ooh. Next up is Man with the Golden Gun. Not one of my favourites, I'll be honest. It's, apart from Christopher Lee, is that his name? Yep, Christopher Lee, just checking, as Salamander, I can't even remember what his name is. Scaramanga, sorry. It's been a while. It's a lot to remember with these Bond movies. I think he is the best part of it. Roger Moore is great, as usual, but there's just not much, really, that interests me. But, Spy Loved Me, up there with Goldfinger as one of my personal favourites from the series. I think, once again, this is Roger Moore's third movie. He's really getting into the role of Bond. You know, there's so many iconic scenes. You know, you've got the ski jump at the beginning. I think the song, Nobody Does It Better, is quite iconic as a Bond song. The Underwater Lotus, Jaws. The Jaws. Do I even have to say any more? Okay, The Spy Loved Me. Great. Top tier Bond movie. Next up is we have maybe my biggest guilty pleasure from the Bond series, Moonraker. I don't mind it. Let's let Bond go to space, okay? You know, Star Wars, Star Trek, you know, it was all coming up sci-fi, and, you know, Moonraker shows that. I do think how they put Bond into space works quite well, to be honest. Jaws is back again. I like Jaws. There's a few. This is definitely one of the more sillier ones. There's quite a lot of silly moments, definitely with the gadgetry and stuff. But overall, this is I think it's a good movie. It's good. It's not bad. It's just a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. For Your Eyes Only, I've never really got into this one. This does have some great action. I would even argue saying it has some of the best action in any of the Bond movies. It's just the plot never really interested me, and yeah, that's about it, really. Next up is Octopussy. Now, I don't know, you rather like Octopussy or you don't like Octopussy. I quite like it, to be honest. It's fun, you know. I think you have to expect a little more lightheartedness from the Roger Moore sort of era of Bond movies, which some people like more light-hearted Bond, some people prefer more serious Bond. Personally, I think a good mixture of both, I think, is what makes it, you know, a good sort of Bond movie tone. And with Octopussy, I think, you know, it does nail the more serious stuff, especially towards the end with the bomb. I think there are some great moments. Definitely like the all the moments in India, especially the sort of tuk-tuk chase scene. I think is really great, and especially towards the end with the train, and the bomb. I think the last sort of half an hour of the movie is very tense, and it's great. So, next up is A View to a Kill. A View to a Kill. It hurts for me to criticise because, you know, there isn't much great about this movie. The stunt doubles are really obvious. I do think that Roger Moore should have backed out after Octopussy, and let someone else do A View to a Kill. But Roger did it, and I do think he's good in it. Don't get me wrong, but he is sadly getting a bit old, and it does sometimes become a bit sort of, well, I think you need to have some level of, you know, disbelief when it comes to Bond, but, you know, I can't think of exactly what age he was. I can't think if he was around his 50s or 60s or something whenever he was in A View to a Kill. But I know he was getting on a bit, sadly. But I do think the villains are really good in A View to Kill. The song A View to a Kill by Duran Duran is definitely one of my favourite Bond songs, and, you know, it's not all bad, but it's not great. The Living Daylights. The Living Daylights, I watch these sort of in order, and from watching A View to a Kill and then The Living Daylights, there's definitely a change of tone, really. I think Timothy Dalton definitely brings a more serious Bond to him, performance to his Bond, and I like that. I think after Roger Moore's more sillier, more light-hearted interpretation, I think Timothy Dalton's interpretation of Bond is, you know, still great, and there's definitely a change of flavour compared to, 7 Roger Moore films. I do think this is good. The villains are weak. I do find myself being interested in the first sort of hour and a half of the movie, but the rest sort of, it loses me a bit. And The Living Daylights by Aha is also a great Bond song, Bond theme. Oh, sorry, it's getting hard to open these. Next up is License to Kill, which was my very first ever Bond movie I saw. I think I saw it on ITV4, it was on telly once, and that's what got me into Bond. License to Kill is one of my favourites. Again, I know some people don't like License to Kill, but by God, I think it's... I don't know, maybe it's because it's just a straight-up revenge story, License to Kill. I like the villain of Sanchez. I remembered his name before I had to flick around and look at the back. I think he's great. I think great performance there. And Timothy Dalton, once again, definitely... It's not a... This is probably the most serious Bond movie, maybe. There's not many quips. Well, there's a few quips, but there's not... It's very serious, but I still like it. I think it's a serious story, and Timothy Dalton is, once again, great in this movie. Next up, going into the Pierce Brosnan era, we have GoldenEye. It's GoldenEye. What else do I have to say? GoldenEye is a great Bond movie. Once again, up there with, Goldfinger and The Spy Who Loved Me for me in terms of like really good Bond movies. The villains are great. The Bond girls are great. Pierce Brosnan is great. Just great action, great everything. Tomorrow Never Dies is another one that I have just haven't really got into that much. I know quite a few people like this movie. I think quite a lot of the action is good. I do like the scene with the Bond's new car, the BMW, which is sort of, it's not the most sportsy sort of spy car really, but by God, that car is a lot of fun to watch. With its missiles and with Bond controlling it at the back of the seat with his phone, and it's great. And I do think it has a very modern plot. I think with having the newspapers and stuff, but yeah, it's not right Bond movie. Next up we have The World Is Not Enough, which is another guilty pleasure Bond movie, in my opinion. I know some people sort of forget about this Bond movie, but in my opinion, I do think it is a very great Bond movie. I think Pierce Brosnan is great in it. I like the Q-boat. The Q-boat is very great, especially the opening title sequence. I really like that. I think the villains are they underrated? I don't know. I think the villains are all right in this one. But is it Denise Richards? Hold on. Denise Richards, yeah, she gets on my nerves in this movie. But other than that, yeah, The World Not Enough. Pretty good movie. Anyway, moving on to the DVDs. I'm just going to skim through the majority of these because, well, they basically have the exact same covers as the VHSs, although two are different. And, well, I've sort of did a little bit of a sort of talking about what my thoughts and feelings are on most of them, with the VHSs. So, we have Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, Ready to Live Twice, On Her Majesty, Secret Service, Diamonds Forever, Live and Let Die, Man with the Golden Gun has a different cover, as the VHSs, Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, which has a different cover to the VHSs, A View to Kill, The Living Daylights, License to Kill, GoldenEye, which has got a sticker on it, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough. Moving on over to Die Another Day. Die Another Day, it's got its good moments, it's got its bad moments. I think the villains are, are a bit weak. The action, I would say, is quite good in this movie. The CGI is a bit, and if I'll be honest, this release, 10 hours of special features, that's pretty cool in my opinion. But yeah, Die Another Day, it's alright. Anyway, next up is the Daniel Craig collection. This is obviously the 2012 release, which has Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall in it. Casino Royale, I really want to like this movie, okay? Casino Royale, it's one of the top tier Bond movies, but I I've just never really got into it as much as some other people have. You know, Daniel Craig's good, the action's good, the You Know My Name song by Chris Cornell is brilliant. You know, the acting is great, you know, just everything is great, but I don't know, it's just, I've never got into it. Quantum of Solace is my least favourite Bond film. I really don't like the movie. Mainly down to just the editing, I think, really gets to me. As well as, you know, the villains are boring. I don't have, what's it, something about oil in this movie? I don't know. But yeah, Skyfall. Anyway, going on to Skyfall. Skyfall is one of my favourite Bond movies. Definitely Craig's strongest Bond movie. You know, I think they needed to, for the 50th anniversary, they needed a really good Bond movie. They needed to throw everything they had at, you know, Skyfall to make it the big, cool, you know, fantastic 50th anniversary special of sort of, you know, Bond. And it was great. And definitely Craig's best. Next up is we have Spectre. Spectre is maybe, I don't know. I know a handful of people don't really like Spectre. I think Spectre's alright. I've seen it quite a few times. I think 4 or 5 now, which is something. I think Daniel Craig's really good in this. Spectre, I have mixed feelings about. On one hand, I think, oh, they're pretty cool. And on the other hand, oh, I don't really care about them. But, I don't know. I don't really know what my feelings are on Spectre. And last of all we have is the, some people might not know this, but in 1983 there was the Battle of the Bonds. Kevin McClory, I believe, owned the rights to Thunderball, so he made a remake in 1983 to sort of battle the official Bond production ones, which at the time was Octopussy. I think in the end we know which one was more memorable, Octopussy, over Never Say Never Again. Never Say Never Again. It's not great. It's nice to see Connery back, but, you know, other than that, it's alright. Anyway, moving on down here, last of all with my Blu-rays. You have You Only Live Twice, Live and Let Die, Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, Octopussy, License to Kill, my first copy of Casino Royale. We have this thin copy of Casino Royale in Blu-ray, and then we have my big thick boy Casino Royale copy, also known as the Deluxe Edition. We have Quantum of Solace, we have the Skyfall Steelbook, which I think is pretty cool, we have the normal copy of Skyfall, and we have Spectre. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like, and I'll see you in the next video.